Hey YouTube, this is Trains and Destinations, and today we're going to take a look at another MacBook Air. So if you look on my YouTube channel, I have, I believe, two other videos of a MacBook Air, one of a 2017 model that I took a look at, and another one of another MacBook Air that was running macOS Mavericks. Now this one's a pretty special MacBook. Now I'm not going to say how I acquired this, but that being said, this was a laptop that was going to be recycled, but I was able to inquire it for myself instead. And just look at this thing. This thing is in mint condition. And once you see how old this MacBook is, you'll be really, really impressed. So, I mean, taking a look at it, the ports are pretty darn clean. As you can see, apart from the MagSafe, that USB port is very clean. Headphone jack is clean. There is one nick right there, but that's nothing too bad. I mean, these things are pretty much abused by the people who had them, since most people get these are college kids. But you look on the right side here, you see the SD card slot, the Thunderbolt port, and the other USB port clean. Really no scratches on either side. I mean, this thing is mint. But what makes this laptop special is, I'm going to start it up and you'll see what makes it special. So kind of going off my other video where I showed a MacBook Air running Mavericks, simply because that thing was never updated. Here's this MacBook Air, and obviously this is not the way the current OS is. So let me type in the password. Of course, that's the password. And there we go. Look at that. Look at that. So of course, what version of this is? And as you can see, this is what it's running. So this is Mac OS X 10.8.5. I believe this is called Mountain Lion, which came out in 2012, I believe. But yeah, this is a really, really old version of Mac OS, as you can see. And now it's not a crazy model. This is pretty much a base model. But as you can see, look at that, mid-2012. Look how good the condition is. This is in such great shape. Yet this thing is from 2012. It is crazy. I thought this thing would have been at least a 2015 model, 2017, but no, this is 2012. And look how good the condition is. It is incredible. And honestly, a bit unfortunate because this laptop has a lot of life left in it, but unfortunately, Apple doesn't support something this old. I believe Catalina is the most recent version of macOS that could run on this. Again, this one has Mountain Lion. Full disclosure, this is actually sold to someone on eBay. So I am going to give it to this person, and it's up to them whether they are going to use this for parts or they're going to use this and basically use it as like a vintage MacBook, or whether they're going to update it to Catalina, which is the most recent version this can run, and use it as just a general little machine. But as you can see, yep, this is a 13-inch mid-2012 model with the i5 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, the 4000 graphics. And then if you look here at the power, this one's even more amazing. Look at the cycle count. 17 charge cycles for a 2012 laptop. Now, it is hypothetically possible that this laptop has a new battery, but more than likely, this thing was just never used. This thing was probably never used, left out on a shelf. And so it really is amazing. This thing is quite a survivor. And in a way, I would have kept this for myself, but I'm a Windows guy. I'm not into MacBooks at all. I can barely use Mac OS. I have owned a MacBook in the past. I had a 2013 MacBook Air. I also had a 2017 or 2016 12-inch MacBook, but that was a few years ago. I massively prefer Windows, so I'd much rather keep a vintage Windows machine over a Mac. But so that's why I'm selling. That's why I have sold this. But as you can see, take a quick look at it. This one also has a 128 gigabyte SSD and, like I said, 4 gigs of RAM. So, again, pretty incredible. And it is still quite fast. So if I open up Safari here, as you can see, it pops up really quickly. And even though this is a really old version of Mac OS, as you can see, of course, Apple.com still works. If I go to Google, Google still works, although it's kind of like the sort of old-style Google. And then if I go to the apps here, of course, you got your old-fashioned apps. Probably the most hilarious one is Photo Booth. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Just look how this thing looks. It is just very, very strange. So, very, very interesting laptop for sure. So, it's quite nice.